Hey everybody, this is your brother, Narada, Michael Walden. Welcome to All In, my podcast where we break down music, life, and love, interviews, and conversations. Let's get into it. My
Man.
brother,
No.
I want to play something for you to honor you.
Honor me.
All right, I want
Okay.
to honor you because that's how I feel about you, my dear friend, my brother.
Thank you.
Yeah, baby, dee, ba 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 da ba ba baby, dee, ba ba da ba da. Yeah, baby, dee, dee, yeah, baby. Yeah, baby, dee, dee, he played so beautiful, Corrado, on all these records, man, all these songs. And this part. Love you, Corrado. It's your sea monster here this morning. God bless you, brother.
Thank you, Narada, man.
Love
nice
you
to
so
see
much,
you, man. Thank you so much. How
I
are
have
you?
to say, driving here this morning, I studied some things on you. In particular, a session you did in Japan, 2010. Monstrous.
Oh,
The track of Vimana. Monstrous. Hold on.
thank you, man.
Yeah, bro. Just monstrous.
You played on that, the original.
I did, but I didn't play it the way you guys played it live.
You played it better.
No, that's Steve Smith, bro. You guys took it to the next level.
Oh,
Quite frankly, if I'm actually honest with you, what Mahavishnu and I put down on Vision of the Emerald Beyond in 75 is when I hear you and Steve are the reincarnation of the highest of that.
Wow, that's incredible. I mean, we were just trying to have fun, just
I know.
just play, basically. Have fun with some songs that were done decades earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's when we met. Actually, we met before. So,
well, that's what I want to ask you about, if you don't mind. Let's go back to when I first met you. You first met me, London Air Studios.
Yes, Air Studios. I was mixing my first No album, and you were recording Wired with Jeff Beck, and I was listening to the first mix of the album, thinking, man, how is that holding up with Mahavishnu Orchestra and all these great cats, And I admired you all a lot. I was a little boy, coming out of Italy. I just bet on life to just come out of Italy and see if I could measure up, And I was trying my best. And then you stormed into the room and you just heard that, I guess, we're all part of destiny. Destiny moves us towards things that but some people recognize and they embrace, and they do, so that's how we met. You came in and you kind of liked what we were doing, and then we became friends, and then you brought me in and you introduced me to Jeff and George Martin, who was my idol, Wow. And then we went to the Speakeasy for a couple of nights in a row.
Beautiful.
Those were good times. I had long hair and a beard.
Right.
That's how we met.
That's beautiful, man. I love it. What a great time.
It was a great time.
When we could just be so open, so free, and the music around us was so inspiring in that direction. People really wanted to be touched by the instrumental side of things.
Yeah, it was a different time. It was, that's what I reflect on these days, that a lot of people have misunderstood music for celebrity and popularity, which translates into money and comfort and all of that, instead of just making change. Change these days, there's a lot of people who are very popular and they, make a lot of money and they bring a lot of followers. But I haven't seen anybody who's changed anything since those days, It's like it's become, I don't know, it's a long story, man. It's, all the internet and social media. And so I don't know if you want to get into that, but it seems like it's not the equality of opportunities that the internet brought, but just conformity of expression. That's how I phrase it. Everybody wants to be the same to achieve the same goal, which is being popular and making money, as opposed to making music. We were coming out of a different era where music was the centerpiece of entertainment. It was not entertainment along with video games and everything else. So music had a different role, and it was a different time. Actually, it's very similar to what we're living now. Very dark times in a way. But music was a centerpiece for a big movement that did bring some change, not as much as we hoped, but maybe some great young guy or girl will bring about change,
Well, I want to say, man, that working with you with the Nova project was a very heartfelt project for me to work with you. The composition and your search for your music with your band Renato, am I saying it right?
Renato, yeah.
Renato.
Yeah.
And the great bass player at the time, I'm sorry, he wanted to work with
Percy Jones.
Yes,
Brandeis.
Percy Jones. We all love him now. He's out touring around with a hot band over here. I see him every now and again.
Oh.
And I saw him actually play with, I think, Alan Holdsworth one time. He was here.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. But anyway, man, I'm saying that from that world, then we became very close friends. You even took me to Capri. And I loved Capri and the Mediterranean Sea and the sea monster and all that.
Those were so you have to understand that for me, you were part of a big thing up there. Like these guys are the guys. So when we actually got to hang, and you being so gracious. In coming and helping us out with the arrangements, and it was all improvised. Basically, we improvised it on the spot.
Yeah, I know.
All those songs, I was singing them in the microphone, and you would just go, "Okay, let's go here, let's go there," and then we fixed them or whatever. But that was a big. See, that's the power of music right there. When you just get people together, and then that album went really well. Actually,
I know.
And then you wrote that song, and we co-wrote it together, "Princess and the Frog," and it was. I remember it all improvised, but for me, it was like a big. And what happened after that, as I was doing overdubs, I don't know if I ever told you this story, but I was doing overdubs upstairs at Trident. Remember, we cut the basics downstairs and we were doing overdubs and mixing upstairs. So I was doing like a solo. I can't remember what song on that album, and I was thinking, I'm John McLaughlin, because he was my idol then. I was trying to be as good as I could, and I couldn't really quite get it. So I tried. And then I opened my eyes, and there's John and the whole Shakti in the control room. Did I ever tell you this story? I don't know if
I think you mentioned he had said to you, just take your time.
Yeah.
Is that the same story?
Take your time. Take your time. And I couldn't understand what he was talking about. What? Take my time. All I hear from you is like,
right.
But it was great, and that made a switch in my life as a guitar player, as a musician. I felt I wasn't so much as a fan anymore, but I could be possibly a peer. So that within me, that changed. So I started to believe in myself. I started to believe maybe I could play better. Maybe I could play with these cats.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful. Corrado, man, you came so close to me. You moved to America. You came here. You lived in California. We made a lot of hit records together. We toured together. You saw them, the funk cats, man. You saw a whole other side of, you know, you know what I mean? The scratching on that thing, struggling on that thing.
Yeah, that was a big that was a big thing for me. So here's this guy, me, coming from Europe, where basically the roots are classical music, and really that's where I was coming from prog and fusion. So I really didn't know anything about funk and soul, and it was total foreign to me. So here I am. I remember, I don't remember which exactly, it must have been one of the first few gigs we had together on tour, but I was ready to quit because I just could not understand what these guys, I mean, I thought every night I played some really great solos and people were like, totally, what, you know? And then I would see Randy doing his thing, you know, back, people go, ah. I said, it can't be just because I'm not Black or whatever. It's got to be something in my playing, you know. So, but I was very depressed at first. I thought I cannot relate, and then I started. Well, maybe there's something there that I don't know, you know. So let me think about it, and I tried to find my way of doing it, and I was very rewarded with hearing my way of funk with other Black musicians later. You know, that was kind of gratifying.
Right.
Yeah, you know how crazy those sessions where you and I were. I was trying to find some cool sound. Yeah, I'm totally into that. You know, I've always been into that. So that was my way of approaching it because I couldn't really play straight funk. I mean, I guess I could. You know, I guess.
Well, to me, you're the master of the funk because check it out, man. I Should Love You. That's you. Tonight I'm all right. No. You know, all the hits, bro. Let's go into Whitney Houston. Of I Want to Dance with Me, Loves Me. How Will I Know? The major hits of So Emotional. You play great guitar work on all those records. I'm letting people know. Aretha Franklin, Freeway of Love, Who's Zooming, all those records. You played a lot of funk guitar, bro, and brought your European sensibility.
Yeah, I guess
vision ideas to the world.
I remember it was interesting times in that the drum machine just came out. Yeah. So you were having a great time because all you're just doing is push a button. And we were like, I remember we were playing like 8 to 9 hours, just, let's do it again. Let's do it again. And I was bleeding. I remember I was bleeding over my strings. I said, let's do it again. Yeah. But it was a great, I will always be grateful to you because it was a great time for me. It was a great college PhD, you know?
Yeah.
I learned a lot. You allow me to experiment with arrangements and stuff and ideas. You were, gracious in that. And so I learned a lot. It was great. Thank you, Narada.
Man.
Yeah.
So now you're back in Germany?
Berlin. Yeah.
How you liking it, Rado? How you liking it, man?
So a few things. I love being back in Europe for a lot of reasons. Closer to my family. I don't have to spend 15 hours on a flight just to go see my mom, and then the jet lag. And so that kind of, especially because my mom is getting older,
Yes.
And so that part I like. I like the fact that Berlin itself, and I chose carefully, and I'm happy about the choice I made. It's a very, very interesting city. Mm-hmm. Culturally, musically. Yeah. It's a big club, and all the new stuff is coming out of here, all the electronic stuff that I'm really interested in. I mean, these people here that just go, the club scene is insane, man, and the jazz thing is insane. So I haven't had too much time experiencing because of COVID. We moved at the peak of COVID. So, but now things that have opened up, I'm looking forward to exploring more. That part I really like. And Berlin being a different city, it's very cosmopolitan. It's kind of like San Francisco. There's a lot of people and students from all over the world. So it's not just German.
Yes.
And I'm only like an hour away from Italy or France or wherever. So I'm enjoying that. I was just there last week producing a couple of songs. So it's easier. Okay. I miss my friends in the United States. I miss you. I miss all the people that have been my friends for decades. I don't really miss the States that much right now. Mm-hmm. I'm actually quite happy to be here. For my kids, especially because when you have kids, it's all about them. It's not about you anymore.
Tell us about your children, Rocco. Tell us about the children.
Well, one is turning 10 next week, and
Yes,
the other one is 4.5. I'm happy that they're here. I was really worried about it. Like all good American families, about all the gun stuff, all the people, that's here. It doesn't exist. It's a whole different scene. So I wanted to have like all parents do, I wanted to have a special, safe, a great place for them to grow up in,
Yes.
So
that's beautiful.
So I'm actually very happy. I live in a beautiful house, in a beautiful place, and I'm enjoying it. And these are good times now.
That's good, bro.
Yeah.
I want to tell you that a story about meeting your father. I came to visit you in your country of Italy, and I met your dad, and he was a very nice man to me, very kind, and he took me to get pizza, and I was very kind of taken by how a pizza looks in Italy. It's kind of like this shape.
In Naples.
In Naples. It's kind of like this shape, not flat, but like this shape. And we sat and we had pizza together. It was very nice to know him.
Yeah, that was great. I was so happy to be a chaperone for you and take you to Capri and all that. And have you been back since?
I don't know. If I have, it's been only touring, in and out, not like hanging out.
No, but I mean in Capri. Have you been to Capri?
Oh, Capri? No. It's been a long time since I've been Capri. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
many years now.
It's still beautiful.
I love the perfume of Capri. It's so sweet and kind of regal, royal. And I remember having a lot of fun with you there. And all the girls were mad about you.
Oh.
All the girls were mad about you. All the time.
No, man, it was good times there. I'm glad we got a chance to live them. I always think about it, and we lived in I'll call it the anomalous bubble of our industry, for like 40 years or something, 60s through 90s, something like that.
Yes.
Where we really enjoyed it, and it was great times. And before then and after that, it's different, these days are different. So I'm happy that I could share them with you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you, Rocky.
I'll always be grateful.
Thank you. You put together an album where you did all the parts from your guitar, all the sounds, everything, using a lot of imagination, a lot of vision. And I remember Neil Sean came to me and said he was very, very impressed with this album that you'd put together. Can you speak about that for a hot second?
So that's the album before the last one. It's called A Hum. Yeah. I, for the last probably 10, 15 years, I've been really trying to find a different way of using electric guitar, because since Hendrix came out, nobody has really done anything with it. They just made it, more of the same. When Hendrix came out, and I remember, and you remember it too, it was nothing you'd ever heard before. It was like, what? What is he doing with the guitar? That. So that hasn't happened in the guitar world since him. So a lot of people play really fantastic and a lot of technique, but to me that is not. It's like what we were talking about before. The innovators. There's before and after. There's before Hendrix, after Hendrix. So I was really, and I still am. I'm kind of dissatisfied with the guitar, electric guitar. It's more of the same. It's been 60 years, man. We're still doing the same thing. And you cannot do it as good as it was back then. Back then it was visceral, it was innovative, it was new. Now everybody learns the licks, and it's mannerism. You learn the licks and you play the licks and it fits on the chords. And even though they still all play the same scales over and over, faster and faster, with tapping and everything, it's more of the same. The sound is the same. And what they've basically, it's just like music, they keep rehashing the same stuff. So I decided, man, there's got to be more to the electric guitar. Let me see if I can come up with anything other than this. So I sat down. It took me 6 years to make that album. I sat down and tried to see if I could make the guitar sound like different things, and I can, I don't want to get into how long it took me to make the guitar sound like cymbals, or like what I thought would be cymbal-like, sounding. So that took me a while. And because of the nature of the instrument, obviously the rhythm section part had to be simpler because I couldn't really, you can't make that on the guitar, But what I discovered was that the guitar had a lot of different hidden things that you can bring out. And from that came this pedal that I'm actually going to release pretty soon to the world.
Wow.
Which I used a lot on my last album, which is really what I really want out of the guitar: more expression, more depth, more, like almost like a horn, basically, because I've always been frustrated. I always wanted to sound like a saxophone,
Right.
and I couldn't. And that's what guitar players try to do with distortion. But what happens is that it flattens the dynamics of the playing. It's all one thing, So anyway, I basically tried to do something, but in the end, it doesn't matter how you do it. I wanted to make some good music, if I could. And so I tried to give that music a different voice, and that's what I tried to do. Basically, I don't know if I was successful or not. I know that Alan really liked it, and Frank Gambale really liked it, and they sent me some really nice.
Yes. Then you told me, you said, man, I have cracked the code.
I
love
cracked
Alan
the code.
Holdsworth, and you cracked some code.
Well, I don't know if I cracked the code, but
Okay.
no. But he's like like Jimmy or whatever. You cannot be like. There's no use in trying to be like that guy.
That's right. That's
But what Alan, like Hendrix and like John McLaughlin did before, basically what inspired me was the approach. And I said, why is he sounding so different? What is it that he does? And that took me out of the mannerisms, like the pentatonic scales, the blues-based playing that we all know and everybody does in one way or another. And everybody sounds kind of the same, basically. And I kind of started looking at the guitar. Once I figured out in my mind what he was trying to do, and he was doing very well, I said, oh, that's incredible. That's really interesting. I mean, and he could do it in a way that it's, not that many people can do. And I'm not trying to be like him. I was just inspired by the approach. I thought it was kind of left, wing. And so I started looking at that, and I started looking at how you can look at the guitar and scales and how that could be related to chords and things. You just have to spend time, and if you want to find different things. And I'm still working on it, but I'm happy because I found what I think is my own sound and my own way of playing, which is to me the most important thing. It's not about technique. Technique is about expressing yourself. So if you have technique that allows you to do that, technique is good. If you're a prisoner of technique, is like the pointing to the moon, but you're looking at the finger. It's just the moon is the thing, not the finger. And so Alan was very inspiring. He was always very gracious with me. And we've been friends since the 70s, when we lived in England, and he was amazing already then. And that actually took me a while because I had to change my whole way of playing, because the picking every note, it was more like a percussive, which the guitar is. It's a percussive instrument. So trying to make a percussive instrument into a melodic expression instrument took me a while to adjust. But I'm happy about that because it kind of like threw me on okay, go. And it's like, oh my God, this is like a huge avenue of opportunities, He was a great guitarist. I mean, probably one of the best in the last 100 years,
I have to ask about you now, where you are able, with the greatest of ease, to play when you want to, the flight of speed. It's incredible how fast, clean, like Mahavishnu and more, you're able to do. I want to ask where that comes from in your childhood.
I don't know, man. I don't know that I'm that clean.
You are.
Well, thank you. I just had the good fortune of growing up in a family where, my older brother was doing well and he was a genius kind of person, and kind of opened up my way of thinking. And, like siblings, I wanted to be different than him. I wanted to be better. I'm better than my older brother, but I had all of his support. He always helped me out. He bought my first couple of guitars. They got stolen. He bought me another one. It was always, and at the same time, I wanted to show myself that I could be better than my brother, So that started me on, okay, let me get a better technique. And I don't know, what it is. I guess because the first thing I ever learned was mandolin. My grandma taught me how to play the mandolin. I was 5.
Beautiful.
And so maybe the right hand part came from that. And then I always liked drums and, so that part, in a way, the rhythmic part came easy, all the odd meters and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I never really had to count them. It came naturally to me. Because it is. If you are exposed to a different thing, they become natural to you. If you're exposed to just 4/4 all the time, then you have to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, and then. But in our time, because of prog music and fusion music, we were exposed naturally to all those time signatures, and so I love them, and I love to play over them. And I had so much fun with you. You kind of freed me. And so, I thought, because I used to just hold the drummer. The drummer could not hold it. So I had to, come on, and I could not be free. It's like all of a sudden when I started playing with you, it was like I was free. I could just go, here and there. I could always come back. Somebody had to hold the ground. That was you, man. That was great. That was a great liberation, and that allowed me to just, I don't have to worry about holding rhythm. I can just think about other things,
Yeah. But I think flight is a big part of you. You also like when you go on the water to windsurf. You like this whole free of flight, freedom. And it comes too big in your soloing. Big time. Like you want to really embrace the sky. That's what I'm feeling.
I like that kiting. I like jumping. I like, I love that. I think, we're all different. You look big, rooted, the Mother Earth, kind of, so I can rest upon.
Yes.
And that's how it works, in a band. But I have to tell you, I really remember, I really enjoyed the first 3 days when you called me and I came up from Los Angeles to San Francisco, and we spent 3 days just playing guitar and drums. I don't know if you remember that.
Tell me. Come on.
Well, no, it was great. We were, you said, hey man, I'm here in San Francisco. You want to put a band together or something? I said, I don't know. Let me come up. And I came up and we played. What was the name of that street, man, where you had the studio? I forgot, in the Mission.
Army Street? Way out there?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's drums, right? Drums there, yeah.
Okay.
So we spent like 3 days in that little studio, just jamming.
Just going.
And then I said, man, this is great. Let's do it,
Yes. Well, thank you, brother. Thank you so much, man.
Narada, man.
Yeah.
And I hope that you are enjoying the fruit of all your work that you've done.
I'm here in Tarpan Studios, Corrado, where you.
I remember I see the control
right over there.
Do you still have the platform for the?
I got the platform.
Okay.
It's not here right now, but I got it. If you want to come stand on it, right against the wall, so it was
Corrado's spot right there.
It can handle the feedback. It can handle all the power. In this very room was be you, Randy, either Frank or Walter or Preston Glass, making so much magic. So we're in the same place, brother.
And before that, at the Automat.
Oh, we love the Automat.
Yeah, the Automat was pretty magic, wasn't it?
Yes, and so many memories there with experiencing great people coming through there.
That's where I actually got started.
That's right. And if I'm honest, because I'm going there later today, the record plant. It's at the record plant you came with me to do the first Stacy Lattisaws. Little Bit Angel, Dynamite, Jump to the Beat. Those
Rick James was there.
Your Spotlight.
Rick James was there.
I'm sorry. Your Jam. I like the feel. I like the way. I like the. What's the jam I'm thinking about?
And Rick James was there. Remember?
Oh my God, love Rick.
And he was
powerhouse.
Really envious of what we were doing.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
He was a big admirer of yours.
Yeah. So the record plant was also, to me, actually the first place That really kind of, for
Well,
me.
okay. Wally Hyder. Wally Hyder was.
Wally Hyder, I should have loved you. Okay, boom, there you go.
Exactly.
Bobby Clearmountain.
That's exactly. That's it.
Okay, that's it.
We've done a lot, man.
I know. It's beautiful history. It's absolutely beautiful history. I thank you so much, man, for
thank you.
Giving all your heart, your soul, your love, ideas, vision, every damn thing, just loving it, loving the music, giving the music, and being very versatile, flexible. From fusion world to funk world, from funk world to pop world, from fusion world to pop world, all the worlds, man. Bringing all the world and finding ways to bring the new worlds together in new ways, which we hadn't experienced before.
Yeah, exactly.
So I have to credit you for that, man. God bless you for that.
Thank you, man. You too, man. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. It was all like meant to be,
Yes.
Yeah. and it was a very powerful group, actually, because almost all the people involved in the group did well.
I know, man.
And there was a major, you were the focus point for a lot of great talent that, So I have nothing but respect and gratitude, man. It's a good life, Yes. I was doing a seminar last week in Italy.
Okay.
And they asked me a lot. I turned them down most of the time, but I was there. And I'm really enjoying talking to the young people, this teens or 20-somethings, they're trying to make it and they don't know. And I must admit, if I was in their place, it'd be pretty hard to find inspiration out there because it's kind of confusing and it's kind of more of the same, everything. So I'm like enjoying more and more, giving them an alternative, because they're curious as how it was done and what was different and what's different now, And I'm thinking, and I relate it back to, when I was that age, what was going on, and it was a whole different thing. But I'm enjoying, and they do ask me, all these big names, Aretha and Whitney, and all the records that you produced that we ended up playing on. It's very hard to explain to them that, first of all, back then you basically had to be able to play something to end up on a record, right? You could not just be like somebody on a laptop and an aspiring celebrity just using loops to just make some kind of, I call them musical GIFs that last 30-second GIFs that last 3 minutes, basically. It was a different way of doing music. It was actually, I think music is about the language of talking with musicians. It goes beyond words. It goes beyond intellect. It's like a very spontaneous and very fragile connection that you need to basically give love to and just respect. And sometimes it doesn't work. But when it does work, it goes beyond what you can imagine, right? I mean, even if you start from a point that you start like right now, we've been doing this pre-production for productions for decades now. You can start from there and I could actually play everything. But then if you actually take that and put it in the hands of musicians and be open to what could happen, that is a whole different thing. And all of a sudden it breathes life. You could use all the sounds, whatever you want to do. It doesn't have to be one genre or the other, rock, pop. So whatever it is that you do, it breathes something because it's real, because it was in that moment and it was cut in that moment. And it wasn't something that you thought about in the past and you're imagining in the future. You're actually making it in the moment. They always say that, and that's why I have a lot of respect. I'm not that great at it, but improvisational music, people who improvise, Charlie Parker, John Coltrane, Miles Davis, John McLaughlin, Alan, all of these guys, Chick Corea. What they do, which is incredible to me to this day, is they can make 1 minute of music in 1 minute. They don't take 3 months to make 1 minute of music. And that's the big difference. They're in the now. And what happens right there is like, it has a different connotation. It's just like right now, this feels different than a memory or what we can imagine in the future. Right. Because this is reality right now, right? And the improvisational music is kind of like that. You're like thrown into the lion's den and you just have, jazz has a way of doing it. But if you think about Mozart and all those great composers, they started music, everything they would write, they were great improvisers. They improvised. And then they come up with something that they could, package, kind of like Joe Zawinul did, master that. So I try to explain to the kids, this stuff. And it's not about just sitting in front of a computer. Computer is good. It can help us. I love it. I always loved them. You remember when I used to take my Mac Plus to the sessions? I always loved technology. Technology always dictates the sound.
Right.
But you have to use that in a way that it's real. It's like me talking to you right now. It's real. It's not about me writing an email after I think about it for 20 days.
Well, I want to say something that maybe people won't know. For example, on the beginning of the number one record of George Michael and Aretha Franklin is a song called I Knew You're Waiting for Me. And for all those who are going to be at your conference coming up now and in the world, the very beginning of that record is something that you found. Those sounds on the very beginning of that number one record, you presented to us in the studio here. I was like floored by it. We have to have that sound. And we used it in the very beginning.
I kind of sampled wind chimes in my house and I played them with my guitar. Yeah. I used to love that. And thank you for allowing me to do that crazy stuff.
Yes. It's phenomenal. Also, the very beginning of another number two record in the UK is Divine Emotions. That whole all this stuff, man. I was like, what is that? We have to use it, man. Come on. I love it.
Thank you, man.
Yeah. Then I remember things like this, Corrado. You said, I had a dream last night. I said, yeah. You said, I had a dream. I was playing with Herbie Hancock, but I was balancing, like a balancing beam or something. I was balancing. So I was playing with Herbie Hancock in my dream. Do you remember that?
Did I say that to you?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I do remember, what was it? The Automat. We're upstairs practicing, right? And then I brought my guitar and everybody said, okay, come in. You've been waiting here for 3 days. I was like, okay, I came in. You remember we just had a little jam there? And he was just checking me out. I guess I was playing too fast. I was playing, I was trying to impress and it didn't really work that well. But I mean, I don't know. I was so happy to play with him and you. And Randy was there, right? Randy was the bass
Probably
player?
so, yes. I'm sure. Randy was around a lot at that time.
It was. So I remember I ended up playing on the record, so it was good.
Perfect.
And I actually went to see him downstairs because he was doing in studio at the Automat, Studio B, I think. It was recording with Shaka Khan. And they were doing a cover of Night in Tunisia. Remember that?
Oh, yes.
Where Herbie kind of like did the whole Charlie Barker and Shaka. And I was impressed for a lot of reasons because they were using the first digital 32-track Mitsubishi machine, which was like the first digital machine. Oh my God, what is that? It sounded terrible, but it was impressive. And then, just being able to be present in the session was great.
I remember you being very taken by him and into your dream state. You're telling me about you dreaming about it.
I don't remember that.
But the impression I got was that you were dreaming more fusionistic, like you were like on a balancing beam because the chords are coming at you so intently that you could just do all kind of things on this balancing beam. That was the impression I got.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're right. I was so young.
I was going to say to you that Randy Jackson sends love.
Oh, thank you, Randy. Love you, Randy.
Yeah. And all of our friends, Frank Martin.
Yes.
Send love. Everyone would send love. Like, for example, Tony Tuto would send love right now.
Oh, yeah. Tony.
Randy Jovan. You know what I mean? Carol Pegamon's going to send some love up in here.
Wow.
Lee going to send some love.
Is he still alive?
He lives not far away. He lives over near the Sacramento area.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah.
A lot of people are checking out. Rick Parnell just passed away.
Yeah. No, I did not know he passed away.
Yeah, last week.
Because I was going to ask you next about him. He worked with some great drummers, including Rick Parnell. Say something about him, if you don't mind.
Oh, the great Rick. Rick, as you know, he came from a family of drummers. His father, Jack Parnell, he had a big show on TV, on BBC, I believe. Rick was always a great drummer. I met him in England. He always wanted to play with us. He always, come on, can I play with you? Kind of like Walter did, can I come and play with you guys? Like that.
Yeah.
And then after you played on the record on Vimana, we needed somebody who could actually play the parts that you played. And so we started looking for a drummer, and Rick's name came up. He was good friends with the Brandex people, John Goodsall and Phil Collins and all those people. So he came highly recommended, and he came, and he was like fantastic. He had such a great pocket, man. That guy was fantastic.
I know.
And he was a very funny guy. So when Nova disbanded, because I moved, to San Francisco to play with you, he kind of did a lot of stuff. I think he played with, Hey Mickey, remember that song? Hey Mickey, la, la. Yeah, he played on that record, and he played on The Bar, that guy from the 80s. And then he ended up on that movie Spinal Tap. He's the drummer in that movie. And he had a lot of success with that. And then I guess he kind of I don't know what happened to him. We kind of lost touch. He moved to Missoula, Montana. And he had been living there for a while. And then last week we heard that he had a clot in his lungs, and it kind of totally killed him. It took 4 days or something. And so very sad, There's a lot of people checking out now,
Well, I actually produced that record, the Nova record, with you.
Yes, you did.
With Rick playing those drums, and I was so taken by him.
Yeah,
so
fantastic.
Now that we're speaking about him, because my booth, our production booth was higher, where I could look down upon him as he played below.
Yeah.
In that room is so much history, but here he was down there just playing so beautifully with you.
Yeah.
Rick Parnell. So I was really, like you, taken by him.
Yeah, and Barry Johnson on bass, who you recommended.
Ooh-wee. He's still a friend. He's out in Queens, New York still.
Yeah. Fantastic musician and singer.
Yes, I saw him recently.
But incredible bass player.
Yeah.
Just incredible. When I remember us asking you, Narada, do you know a bass player? You said, this guy from Queens, check him out. You sent him over, man. And the guy came over and it blew us away, man. It was incredible. It's still incredible. Just great musician.
Hey, Corrado, man, say something about the people like this. Where do I plug in? I'm going to plug in right in here. Say something about the people, man. I'm going to plug in right in here, man. Just plug
I forget
it in.
his name. The bass player from Brian Auger, right? The bass player from Brian Auger. My God, what a genius organist. And great, funny guy. He used to come to the studio where we're mixing Nova. And I remember we were mixing, and he would be right behind me, go, hey, Corrado, DI the congas. What? Yeah. And while I was making that, we're like, EQ the Dolbys. EQ the Dolbys? What is he talking about? Fantastic, and that guy is history, man. That guy played with Jimi Hendrix. He just actually gave him a shot when Jimmy came to London. Great organist, with the Trinity, and I don't know if you remember those records, but fantastic.
Brian Auger's great.
And the bass player was the guy saying, I just play straight, plug me in, I don't need any pedals and nothing, just where do I plug in? You remember that?
I love it. I love those stories.
Yeah, that was good. And I remember the story and said, come on, man, you got to give it up. The story with James Brown and Aretha. Remember the day that James came to the studio?
Yes, he's been here twice. So you're talking the first time he's come here. Tell the story. Go. Yeah.
No. That was one of the funniest moments of my life, man. I have to admit.
The limousine pulled up out front.
Exactly.
He got out, and in the front on the window of the car.
But it took 5 minutes just to have him come out of the limousine.
To get the hair right.
And he's like, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh. And then he didn't say anything. He just walked in. Didn't say hi or nothing. He just walked in. And we're like, hey, James, thanks. And he walks in. And then you're like dealing with it. Okay, this is going to be a nice day for Narada right there. So then you start singing, okay, James, can you sing it? You don't tell Chrysler how to build a car. You don't tell James Brown how to sing a song, right? Remember that? And he stormed out. Great days, man. What a great legend.
Yeah.
Gosh, man. So yeah, I have a lot of stories. I actually tell a lot of the stories from what I can remember, because I don't remember all of them, but I remember some of them, and especially on the road with Rufus and Shaka and the brothers Johnson.
And you were very taken by Shaka's guitar player too. Come on, help me out. Jacques'
No,
guitar
I
player.
actually like the drummer a lot.
Oh, just John Robinson.
John Robinson. He held it, man. He was holding it. It was a great pocket he had, man. That was fantastic. Who was the guitar player with the Shaka and
His name will come to me, but he sure is great, man. He's been there. He is the Rufus. He is that sound of Rufus.
Yeah.
The Shaka. Oh, he used to be Bobby Wooten on bass, and of course John. And he'll come to me in a minute. But
yeah, that's all right.
Bad cat, man. There's so many cats. And then also Brothers Johnson was out there touring with us.
Yeah.
You know, Louis Johnson was doing it, man.
Yeah. And I remember Randy doing his thing with the glasses.
yeah.
That was great. That kind of turned it over for me. It's like, man, like he would go and go like, bam, bam, shaking his booty to the people go, and I would be going, like, so, man, there's something that this disconnect right here, man. What's going on here? What do I have to learn? And then one day I just decided, okay, let me try it. Okay. Now I got it. Now I understand. Yeah,
just plug it straight in, man. Plug it straight in, man.
Exactly. No pedals, man.
No pedals, man. Just plug it straight in, man.
No pedals.
Yeah,
just
brother.
fit it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So, Corrado, man, what do you want to say, man, for the people here today and for the people of tomorrow? Anything you want to say message-wise for us?
Oh, man, I just hope that people, we're living in dark times, Narada. I mean, it's very difficult times. It's a time when I think people really need to get real with themselves. So what's real in life? What is it that transient, that comes and goes? All the illusions that we chase and they don't bring us to anything. It took me decades to figure out, you cannot make another story to make the story of you better. The story is just a story. So I hope, especially for musicians, I really hope that, and I keep telling this to the young guys that I talk to, I really hope that they can find a way to become relevant in a way that it's the art of music becomes important again as opposed to the entertainment. So the industry has been very good at confusing the issue and making it every music entertainment. So entertainment will always be around and will always satisfy that part of us that looks for that. The art of music is something totally different. That's where people change the world. Some people have that capacity. And maybe out of all this new generation, I have a lot of faith, like what's now 10, 12 years old, and they will come up with something that will change the world in a way that is meaningful and relevant and inspires the waves of people after them for decades, So that's my hope. That's what I would like to do, especially as far as my life also. That's the kind of music I want to do. I don't, like you, we've been blessed, I don't, I don't have to chase the train anymore. It's all good. And that allows me to just really think about what, if I'm a musician, if I'm an artist, what is it? What's art? What is art? Is it just, oh yeah, let's feel good about that. That art always does that. Entertainment never does the art part, So when you stand in front of a sculpture or listen to a piece of music or look at a painting, when it's real art, your breath is taken away. It's always like, oh my God, that moment right there is what changes humanity and what inspires humanity. And so I'm hoping, I'm sure it will, because humanity doesn't stop. So at some point, somebody.
I know that Mahavishnu, I'm called to say this to you. In the sidelines before going on stage, he would be listening to John Coltrane playing very, very open and free with Elvin Jones going at it. That would be what he would listen to before he'd take the stage. It would either be that, or it could be something from India that he might love. But primarily 90% of it would be John Coltrane. Yeah. Elvin Jones going at it. That would inspire him when he got on the stage, just open his
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So that was his generation. Those were his heroes, and every generation has heroes.
Yes.
There needs to be somebody who's going to sound different, and do what? And that's the moment that the world stops and says, oh my God, what is that? You know, regardless of what genre, it doesn't matter, you know, pop, jazz, you know, those are all, once you start labeling them, it's done. The past is dust, you know, it's like all we know is the past. So hopefully somebody will be, and I'm sure it will. And there are very few now. That's the other thing, the illusion that we're all great artists. If you play hard enough, you're going to be great. No, I'm sorry. Not everybody has that. You know, that's why they're artists and that's why there's genius people, and not everybody's a genius. Doesn't matter how hard you try. If you're not that, you're not going to be that. So at some point, I'm really hopeful that that will help humanity, you know, make this change. I'm kind of curious to see what happens the next few months, man.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. I have to ask you, Guru Shishinmoy, say something.
Guru Shishinmoy, he was a great stepping stone for me. I learned a lot about discipline and just how to begin to look at life in a different way. And I will always be grateful for that. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. What about Italy, your home? You've produced so many smashes. You're known all over the world, but out of Italy, you went back to Italy, and you made such great recordings with Zucchero and all kind of artists there. Say something about your hometown, Italy.
Well, Italy. Okay, I have to say this. I've traveled enough not to consider myself Italian, American, German, whatever. You know, I've just, something happens to you when you see humanity at large. We're all the same thing, you know. We're all limited by culture that we grow up in. This is your language. This is your name. That's you, you know, and for good or for bad, you know. Oh, you're a king. Oh, you're a slave. You know, that kind of stuff, you know. So I traveled, and I know that we're all the same. Italy gave me different kind of foundations, and I was brought back into Italy against my will. I really didn't want to go back and just do Italian stuff. I was happy playing with you, man. You know, that was great. For me, that was the dream. Oh, wow, man, I'm playing with all this. I'm learning so much. America, I love America. You know, that was great. And I guess we all have a destiny, and we all have to, you know, like the great Ramana Maharshi said, you know, no matter how hard you try, if you're not meant to do something, you will never do it. And no matter how hard you try, if you're meant to do something, you will do that thing, you know. It's just, so you recognize that thing and you just follow it and surrender to it. What happened against my will, I started producing, and I brought back all that I learned, the know-how that I learned in the States, into Italy. At that time, Italy sucked, basically. You know, they didn't know how to make records. And for whatever reason, I was a little bit of a bridge. I had the opportunity to change that, and we changed history there. And so I enjoyed it. I'm very grateful. And Italians, you know, I love them. You know, I grew up there the first 15, 16 years of my life, you know.
Yes.
So, yeah, I'm very grateful that I was able to do. In fact, there's a project that I can't really talk about right now, but it's going to be a very, very interesting project that is going to address that with all those big stars and my career. And it's going to be fantastic. And I'm grateful to Italy to allow me to just bring my madness there.
Beautiful, beautiful. I have to ask you one more question. Anything you want to say about a friend of yours, a friend of mine, and his wife who's passed away, who I love so much, is Barbara Forlani and Pierre Forlani.
Oh,
say something about them. They're on my heart. I feel Barbara coming through. I feel Pierre coming through. Anything you want to say?
Pierre. I haven't seen Pierre in quite a few years. I know that, I hope that he's doing well. Pierre was an anchor for me when I was in London in the beginning, even before I met you.
Yeah.
Because we were starving, and he, back then, had me in his house and fed me, and he fed me. And also afterwards, in the year 2000, when I divorced and I had nowhere to go, Pierre had me in his house for a few months so that I could get myself together again. So I hope he's doing well, and
Yes.
his daughter is doing well. So as
Yeah.
and Barbara, we both loved, and she's gone for a while. So
Incredible woman. Barbara touched my soul. I think of her every day.
yeah, beautiful, beautiful
Yes.
woman.
Yes. And I have to say also, I remember you so much loved the recordings of ECM, things that were coming out from ECM at that time with Barbara and Pierre and all that around was such a romance in the air of that music and the time. I want to keep that love that I have at that time. I want to share it with you now. I'm feeling it very much around me and inside of me. All that love now to you.
That's Germany right there. Thank you. Now that's Manfred Eicher. He's still doing the label, but those were magical times. That sound was very unique. Ralph Downer, Eberhard Weber, Jan Garbarek, all those great. Pat Metheny, Jaco was his first thing. Unbelievable. That's what I mean. We have to wait a little longer to get some people who can just think of that again, and not necessarily in that format, but in different future format, whatever it is. And I have my ideas about what digital music should be like, which is not what it is right now. I actually patented an idea that I've had for a few years about making music fluid and not static. One day I'll tell you about it. It's a really fantastic concept.
This is with your new invention, right?
Yeah. So I have three things that are coming out. One is my guitar. That's going to be released soon. COVID kind of slowed it down. Parts all over the world. It's been crazy. You can get parts. The other one is this pedal that I'm going to release this year. And this other one is a patent that I have of an idea of how music should be made in the digital era, which is not, so in a nutshell, instead of thinking of 11 static songs, you think of one song with multiple arrangements, and then you have artificial intelligence just have fun with all the stuff that producers and artists tell the software what to do. And it's unbelievable, man. I should play it for you one day.
I like it.
You have no idea. It's like, oh my God, you could do this with that part, and that part it's fantastic. And that to me is digital, so, and then people can customize their own version, enjoy it, and make multiple versions of the song.
Yes.
Anyway.
Well, listen, man, we look to you for your inventions and your life force with us. And we look to you for your high flying soul, man. I'm going to tell you something. I don't know, I can say this to anybody. I can tell my Vishnu. But what I heard this morning on my drive in here, again, Vimana with you and Steve Smith was phenomenal. I don't know who played the keyboard.
Oh my God. Who is it? Peter Vitesi. Peter Vitesi used to play with Jethro Tull. Yeah. He also played on all those great
Yes. Genius.
All that. Unbelievable pop. Just kind of like us. He has a pop sensibility, but he's a great musician. And so I told Peter, incredible keyboard player, Peter, I don't want to go out with a bass player. Can you do this with bass pedals and stuff like that? He says, it's impossible. I said, think about it. And he did it, man. It was... Yeah.
But it sounds like bass. It's like a bass. There's like a bass player there.
He's unbelievable.
But there's a bass player there. I'm telling you, man, there's a bass player there. I don't know where it's coming from.
And he's playing it, and he's a funky guy, man. He's just the funkiest. You should play with this cat, man. Right now, I send him over... he's playing with Zucchero right now. Zucchero is touring all over Europe. They're doing like Royal Albert Halls, big shows everywhere. And Peter is enjoying it because Zucchero called me and said, can you get somebody who plays the Hammond? I said, yeah, get this guy. This guy is... And so Peter is on tour with him. You got to listen to this guy play, man. And do you remember a band called Go West?
Yeah,
remember
of course.
With
Mark, somebody on bass. Was it Mark? Somebody.
And he was the keyboard player.
Oh, yeah.
On all those records.
I met the bass player. What was his name? Mark somebody. Yeah, okay.
Oh, you mean Level 42, you mean, that guy.
Maybe I'm confusing it. Go West,
they had We close our eyes. Na, 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 da, 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 da. Yeah. Oh my God, I'm going down. Memory lane. Yeah, Peter, incredible keyboard player. And so he was actually the glue because Steve and I, and Steve, of course, being a fantastic drummer that he is, I was just happy to be there.
Well, we all know Steve can play. I mean, even in the Journey stuff, he plays some phenomenal stuff live. But on that recording with Vimana with you is the most I have heard him really throw it all together with you together, which was just staggering. So I posted it this morning on my Facebook, and I'm going to put it around the world again because it's just like we need to hear it all over again. So God bless you, Corrado, man.
Thank you
for all the love you give.
Thank you.
In every sphere of music, be it the soul, be it the pop, be it the Whitney Houston, Aretha Franklin, all that music, be it Nova, be it Narada, Michael Waldman, the Dance of Life, all the music we put down. My favorite stuff is watching you on Soul Train, American Bandstand, move and play that funk.
Yeah.
Bro, where you move and play that funk with that double neck guitar. That's what I'm talking about.
That was very hard to do. I'm telling you, man. It was a heavy guitar to try and move with that thing.
And it got stolen and came back.
Exactly.
Carol Pegram brought it back.
Yeah.
Woo-wee.
Thank you, Narada. Same to you, man. I mean, the version of Vimana in Japan, I was inspired by the stuff that you did with John on Inner Worlds with the ring modulator and all that stuff.
Yes.
I said, somebody should bring that back. Let me try it. I just had to start having fun with that.
Yes, brother.
Good to see you, man.
You too, man. I'm here for you. Come back and visit Guitar Fan Studio. I got the perch over here for you.
That's right, man. You just call me anytime. I'll be right there. See, I got my syntax. I'm ready to go, man.
Yeah, man. Just plug straight in, man. Plug straight in.
Straight in, man. These days, you don't even need an amp. I'm just coming in with this.
Yeah, okay, cool, man.
Yeah.
Okay. God bless you, Roddy, man. God bless you.
Thank you, Narada.
Love you so much for your time, man.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much for listening to our All In podcast. If you enjoy the show, please follow, like, and subscribe on our socials. YouTube, Official Narada Instagram, Official Narada, one word, and All In with Narada Michael Walden on Apple Music, Spotify, and more. Thank you so very much.